Good morning. It's Christy. How's your day? Shout out to everybody. Our topic today is about how to stay away from toxic people. And first and foremost, I want to define what a toxic person is. There's always something with this person. Irwin describes a toxic person as anyone who is abusive, unsupportive, or unhealthy emotionally, someone who basically brings you down more than up. You may begin to feel dependent on him or her for their opinion, doubting your own. Okay, that's what how Irvin explained it. So, signs of a toxic person is that person is basically very manipulating. Okay, so if you find some people who are like that, be very careful about those people. So, what are the signs of toxic person? Here are 7 signs of a toxic person. You're left feeling emotionally exhausted after an encounter with them. So basically, they are sucking your energy out of your body. They try to intimidate you to get their way. They try to control you by guilt tripping. They're easily jealous. They give backhanded compliments and they overshare. Okay? Those are the signs. Can toxic people change? Toxic people change, but it's highly unlikely. What is certain is that nothing anyone else does can change them. It is likely there will be broken people, broken hearts, broken relationships around them, but the carnage will always be explained away as someone else's fault. This is actually a disorder as well too, right? So let's define what is toxic personality disorder. Is actually a sickness. Even though most toxic people aren't criminals, they could have underlying personality disorders, including narcissistic personality disorder, bipolar disorder, or other mental health condition. Or they could just be mean, self-centered, manipulative, egotistical, selfish, and calculating. Let's go for question. How can you tell if a woman is toxic? Here are some signs to help you recognize a toxic relationship. All take, no give. Feeling drained. Lack of trust. Hostile atmosphere. Occupied with imbalance. Constant judgment. Persistent unreliability. And non-stop narcissism. What causes a person to be toxic? Some people become toxic due to learned behavior that causes maladaptive coping skills in society and relationship. The internal struggle between their own unmet needs and compensatory methods to meet those needs are incorporated into their behavior and the behavior towards others. How can you tell if someone is manipulative? This is very important because a lot of people has this weakness of being nice to everybody. Like, yes, people are having a hard time to say no. So tendency is people who are manipulative are actually taking advantage of those people. These are the 5 warning signs of manipulations in relationship. They make you feel guilty for everything. Manipulation always starts with guilt. Okay. They force their insecurities on you. They make you doubt yourself. They make you responsible for their emotions. And they make you believe that you want what they want. But how can you tell if you're being manipulated? Okay? There are 10 signs you're being manipulated. Okay. Manipulated behavior involves 3 factors according to Steins: fear, obligation, and guilt. When you're being manipulated by someone, you are being psychologically coerced into doing something you probably don't really want to do. And so that's the reason why when you're weak and you're having a hard time to say no, you basically just go with the flow of what other people is suggesting you to do, which is, it's a weakness, right? But how do you stop it? How do you stop being manipulated? The only way to keep from being manipulated is to actively push against all the boundaries that others try to set for you. Stop trying to fit in. Work to stand out. Work to be different in every possible way and to never stay the same for too long. What does emotional manipulation look like? Someone who is emotionally manipulating you may do so in subtle ways like judging and criticizing your actions. They might make a mean comment about your choice of friends, for example. Another sign of emotional manipulation is trying to create feelings of embarrassment or guilt. Can you be manipulated without knowing it? Almost everyone has felt subject to manipulation at one time or another, but no one wants to think of themselves as a manipulative person. But some behaviors are so common, you could be engaging in an emotional coercion without even realizing it. How do you outsmart a manipulator? 8 ways to deal with manipulators. This is still under the toxic person, okay? Because the toxic people are basically manipulators. So 8 ways to deal with manipulators: ignore everything they do and say. Ignore everything they do and say. Hit their center of gravity. Trust your judgment. Try not to fit in. Stop compromising. Never ask for permission. Create a greater sense of purpose. How do you handle a manipulator? Like what I said, just, ignore what they do and say, right? So, people are raised in a different way and grew up in a different way. And as we are growing up, we are actually dealing with our own selves and dealing with our own emotions and mental capacity, right? So sometimes we don't know why we can't control our emotion, and there's a background behind that we probably want to find out, right? So being strong in a way to fight for yourself is the most important thing that you could do. So all you have to do is just stay away from this toxic person and learn to say no, right? There are 7 smart ways to deal with toxic people. The first one is move on without them. It's kind of hard, especially if that person is your partner or, the love of your life, right? If you know someone who insists on destructively dictating the emotional atmosphere, then be clear. They are toxic. The second one is stop pretending their toxic behavior is okay. It's not really okay. Third one is speak up. Put your foot down. The fourth one. Fifth is don't take their toxic behavior personally. Okay, because that is like what I mentioned to you before is actually it's a disorder, right? That needs to be dealt with. Number 6 is practice practical compassion and just take time for yourself. Concentrate on your own self. If you're dealing with toxic people, there's different tips on how to respond on this type of behavior. Okay. First one is avoid playing into their reality. Don't get drawn in. Pay attention to how they make you feel. Talk to them about their behavior. Which, if you love someone, speak up. Tell them what you feel about their behavior. Put yourself first. That's their first priority. Offer compassion, but don't try to fix them. Say no and walk away. Remember, you aren't at fault. I'll give you some more tips here. But how to deal with toxic people, you can't just cut off, right? I know it's not easy. To be honest, coping with toxic people has never been the specialty. We are dealing with enough toxicity in our lives to know when it's best to cut ties. Snip, snip, right? But we all have toxic people in our lives who can't be avoided, whether it can be a parent or a parent-in-law, a sibling or a sibling's spouse, a friend of a friend, or a coworker whom you just can't stand. A quote about toxic people from the Dalai Lama, if you're familiar with that, comes to mind. Let's go of negative people. They only show up to share complaints, problems, disaster stories, fear, and judgment on others. If somebody is looking for a bin to throw all their trash into, make sure it's not in your mind. If the Dalai Lama is dusting toxicity off his shoulders, shouldn't you? Cutting out negativity from your life, even if you can't cut out the person, doesn't make you a bad person. It means you're valuing your mental and emotional well-being and practicing true self-care. All this is, of course, easier said than done. So, how do you deal with people you'd rather avoid at all costs? The first one is set limits with toxic people. Take it from me, toxic people don't do well with boundaries. They have a tendency to want to control others as well as situations. Trying to set limits or boundaries for them will get you nowhere. They see it as a personal challenge. But you can set limits on the things you can control. Don't invest too much time or effort with toxic people. Keep interactions brief and the topic light. Keep in mind that toxic people will be listening for anything you say that they can spin to make themselves look better. So talk about the weather or say nice things about someone else. Then run away as fast as you can. Set a timer on your phone if you have to. Arrange for a friend to give you the old SOS call. Do whatever you have to do to get the hell out of the Dodge. Pick your battles wisely. It's strictly to balance being cordial with not wanting to normalize someone's emotionally abusive behavior. But toxic people don't respond well to criticism. It's important to acknowledge that battles can escalate quickly into full-fledged declarations of war. Keep this in mind when interacting with toxic people. Try this. Rate your grievances on a scale of 1 to 10. For example, if your mother-in-law says something about your weight gain, that might be a 6. If she says something to your daughter about her weight gain, that's probably on 11. My rule is if it is an 8 or above, it's worth arguing about. Otherwise, it's best to keep the waters calm as best as you can. Recognize and distance yourself from their behavior. I know it's not easy to rise above it when some people are determined to drag you down into the fray. But recognizing that people are toxic should be the first step toward desensitizing yourself from their words and actions. Ask yourself, do I value this person's opinion? And do they have my best interests at heart? If the answer to both of those questions isn't a resounding yes, then don't worry so much about what they say or do. Toxic people only have the power to upset you if you let them upset you. Even if you can't distance yourself physically, you always have the power to distance yourself emotionally. Focus on the positive. I know how cliche this sounds, but I also know that if you dwell on how infuriating toxic people can be or the problems they create, it will stress you the fuck out. Sorry. Do your best to catch yourself when you start to fixate on the negative and try to consciously switch your thoughts to solutions or more positive situations. Toxic people don't deserve your mental energy. Utilize your support system. If you're lucky, you have a support network of people who are toxic. Rally your support troops as needed. It can feel really cathartic to vent to people you value and who values you. If only to keep things in perspective that you're not the problem. Your real friends will be there to remind you that you're amazing, so keep them close. Dealing with toxic people isn't easy, and these coping mechanisms aren't developed overnight. But with any luck, they will help you tune out the toxicity that can't be avoided. So, I hope that helps, guys. I know most of you, you like to help people. You like to be supportive with people, and you're born that way. You're friendly. You're nice. You're kind, right? But be careful out there because some people just like to take advantage of people, and they'll find their way to actually manipulate that to be able to catch you and drag you and put you down and stress you out and suck your energy out, right? So be strong and learn to say no to people if you already feel that that person is manipulating and toxic and negative, okay? So that's all I'm suggesting for you guys to do. If you have any question, you can email me, right? Or you can actually help this channel to survive by clicking subscribe in my YouTube channel, so that I can kind of educate you more about positive things on how to deal with stress in life and how to deal with life in general. Okay, you have a good day, everybody. God bless you all.